My name is Ben Esdale and I'm a dermatology consultant from the Whittington in North London. The aim of this video is to talk you through how to use the DermLite DL3 dermatoscope for using in teledermatology. The first thing we'll do is we'll talk you through the device itself and then show you how to take images with it. So the DL3 will arrive in the box. So if you open the box, you'll get an instruction manual. There's a cleaning cloth. There's the magnetic ring that we'll talk about in a second. The dermatoscope itself in its case. The desktop charger. You've got some international plugs here. Put back in there. You've got a lanyard to put around the device. And this is a focus ring, which we'll also talk about in a minute. So this is the desktop charger. And if you put your dermatoscope on top of the charger, you'll see that the light goes red. That's the color when it's charging. When the device is fully charged, the 3 turns green. When you turn on the dermatoscope, you'll see green means that it's more than 25% charged. Once the charge is less than 25%, this will go orange and it will need further charging. So the dermatoscope will come with an eyepiece and a magnetic ring. For the teledermatology project, you only need the magnetic ring. And this is screwed onto the back of the device. In a clockwise direction. And this allows the iPod to magnetically attach to the back of the device for taking photos. The eyepiece is not needed for teledermatology. So I'm now going to talk to you about how to switch on and off the device and the different types of settings on the dermatoscope. So there are 2 buttons, one on the right, one on the left. The button on the right is the power button, and it also is a button that helps you switch between the 2 different modes of the dermatoscope. So to turn the device on, you just simply hold down the right-hand button for more than a second. You'll see the light comes on here, and you'll see a circle of lights on the front of the dermatoscope. So this is the polarizing setting, and if you press the right-hand button again, just lightly tap it, it goes to the non-polarizing setting. For the teledermatology project, we want you to use the non-polarizing setting. You can see the difference of the lights. There are more lights for the polarizing setting. The button on the left-hand side of the device here is a pigment boost button. So if you press it once, you'll see some orange LEDs appear. This is used just to enhance pigment. It is not needed for the teledermatology project, but you can use it or experiment with it if you wish. To turn off the device, you just simply hold down the right-hand button again for more than a second, and the device switches off. I'll now talk to you about the 2 different types of dermoscopy. There's the polarizing setting and one click to the non-polarizing setting. For the teledermatology project, we want you to use the non-polarizing setting. Now this needs contact with the skin. So what you need to do is open up, by rotating the dermatoscope, the focus dial till you get to the 0. So the 0 is the perfect setting for the camera. And this needs direct contact with the skin in order to take an image. The polarizing setting does not need contact with the skin, and you can actually use it to scan or screen moles, and you get a slightly different image compared to the non-polarizing image. So I'm now going to talk to you about your iPod and connecting it to the dermatoscope itself. So it comes with a connector device that just slides onto the iPod, and on the back you can see a magnetic ring that directly attaches to the dermatoscope, like that. You are then able to see the dermatoscope image on the iPod. The next stage is actually taking the image itself. So when you're using non-polarizing dermoscopy, you do need to use a contact medium to apply to the actual top of the dermatoscope. I would suggest either using alcohol gel or Spirigel, as this both acts as a medium but is also cleans the dermatoscope after use. If you're using it in sites close to an eye or an open wound, then it's probably best to use ultrasound jelly, as this won't sting the patient. To take an image for teledermatology, connect the dermatoscope, turn the dermatoscope on, pressing the button. Just gently touch the right hand button again to make sure it is in the non-polarizing setting. Apply a small blob of alcohol gel and then select the lesion you want to take an image of. So we're going to use this mole here. Gently rotate the dermatoscope onto the lesion to try and reduce the amount of air bubbles in the gel, because that will improve the image. You can then rotate the dermatoscope and try, if you can, to get the graticule, which is the measurements along the long axis, and then you can just gently zoom in onto the lesion, obviously trying to reduce the amount of hairs in the image. And then when you're happy with the image, you just press the button to take the photo. This is the image that has been taken. As you can see, the graticule is nicely placed along the long axis. There are a few hairs overlying the mole here, but the mole is in focus, and this would be fine for using in teledermatology. You can also include a polarizing image at the same time by just pressing the button again, flicking between the non-polarizing and the polarizing setting just by pressing that button, and you can have two sets of images. You can leave the dermatoscope exactly in the same position and just press the button and take two different images. It is important to make sure that you have a non-polarizing image first, and then if you want to additionally add a polarizing image as well, that can also be useful. After you have finished taking your picture, it is important to make sure you clean your dermatoscope. So if you get an alcohol wipe, you can gently clean the lens to make sure that there's no residual gel or dirt on the dermatoscope, and then you can place it back on charge for when you next use it.